With all the changes going on in the world, it's sometimes difficult to see the wood for the trees. So, how do we achieve a more elevated perspective to ensure we don't get drawn into the ongoing fear and division narrative? Well, we turn to an aspect of consciousness that is here to support us all on the journey, but who carries that elevated view, along with a deep-seated wisdom that is shared openly to help us follow a path that leads us towards love, light and unity from a practical human perspective. In our show, we talk about humanity's biggest challenge, which is a return to oneness at a time of deep division. Our energy fields continue to create the illusion of separation, but if we understand what is really going on and take count of how many of us are in the room or on the planet, the answer is always the same, and that number is one. If we accept that as reality, then we would also realize that it is time we stop punching ourselves in the face, a pastime that appears very popular on the planet right now. And don't worry about the drama, it is simply the old, outdated energies playing things out to create space for the new and a world of unspeakable beauty. Of course, you get to decide whether this represents truth or deluded nonsense for you. After all, while we are one, we are all individuated expressions of that one for a reason. Your answer depends on the journey you have chosen for yourself, and there is no wrong answer. And of course, all this uncovered wisdom is encapsulated in another Jolé Gabrielle guided meditation to help us embody these messages. Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
Angel Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet, and we'd like to welcome you to today's show where John is going to tell us more about it.
Yeah, we're going to continue with the theme that we've had for the last couple of weeks because this is really going deep and really helping us to work our way through this journey because there's so many things going on in the world right now, and yet all the answers are right here. We go within and we can transcend any density that's out there. It's all up to us. But it's understanding the entire nature of everything. You know, the unity consciousness thing we know is, where we're heading. But it's understanding the dynamics behind that that we're really exploring today. And it's a fascinating thing, and I'm really, looking forward to digging into this and to sharing this. We're going into this wisdom again with Angel Alariel. Now, you may recall where Angel Alariel came from in the first place, but again, it's coming back to the book, The Power of the Magdalene. The two authors, Joanna Prentice and Stuart Wilson. And Stuart Wilson was on a past life regression, lived out a life as an architect at the time of Atlantis, but still with very strong Essene links. So he's had many connections with the Essenes over the thousands of years. But he was very spiritually connected in that role as his architect in Atlantis. And he had access to an angel. And when they were asking questions, like during the deep, during the regression, then he would then refer back to Angel Alario to answer certain questions that he wasn't able to answer himself. And that gave them access through Stuart to tap into Alariel's wisdom. And the wisdom is really so deep and so profound and so worth sharing. Again, the book always comes highly recommended. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, the Alariel thing is a real gem. And I think that is really why we're going into that so much. And we've also got a little bit of Lao Tzu wisdom that fits very neatly, shoehorned in the middle of this first section as well. So yeah, it's all about our unified energy and consciousness system. So I just think that again, the clarity that this gives us is something pretty special. What do you reckon, Jolé?
Yes, things are becoming so much more clear in this time, the ways in which we can utilize the universe, ourselves, our heart chakra, all of our chakras to move us forward and to transform. And to know we have access to this energy of Alariel and its communication is truly a blessing. So I'm really excited for the show and I'm ready to begin.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to take you to this first section with Alariel, which is all about oneness, and that is the true reality. The rest is illusion. So let's hear all about it. So bear with me a second.
What is the biggest challenge that you see ahead for us?
To focus on oneness and on the need to change human society so that it reflects oneness. From our perspective, oneness is the only true reality, and all the apparent fragmentation of life on Earth is an illusion. The illusion lies in the apparent separation of each being, its ability to stand alone in isolation from all other beings. Your scientists are now discovering that all living beings are much more closely connected than you have thought. You all exist in a continuum of consciousness and energy, and you could not cut yourself off from this shared life system and still exist. That knowledge is the beginning of respect. Living on planet Earth is very much about learning respect. Respect for all life forms, all traditions and cultures, however strange they may seem to be. We see changes in this direction in many levels of human consciousness and many little movements away from the traditional view of outsiders as rivals or adversaries. Despite continuing areas of chaos and conflict, humanity is exploring unity in a way that would have been unthinkable only a generation ago. International lines of communication and structures of cooperation are evolving into the ability to think and act globally. A total human response to the greatest human need. So that this collaboration can work effectively, you are having to let go of the heaviness of your battle-scarred past and consign your fears and suspicions to the rubbish heap of history. You are even starting to go beyond greed and learning to live in a sustainable way, which does not do violence to this planet. And you are discovering that the only way for anyone to win in the long term is for everyone to win, including the Earth. The whole of this planet, which you have been studying as a unified energy system, is now emerging into your awareness as a unified consciousness system. More than that, you are beginning to understand that energy and consciousness are not two separate things, but one thing. And together they make up a continuous and unbroken web of being. One energy and consciousness in all that is, and all existence as one web of life. It is quite a leap of understanding to grasp that energy and consciousness are different frequencies of one thing. Your physicists are only just in the earliest stages of beginning to grapple with this. And the whole of your science is now moving forward into subtle and challenging areas. The holistic and integrative vision pioneered by your philosophers is now becoming the everyday reality of your scientists as they study the human and planetary ends of this vast continuum, and its subtle and life-sustaining links and connections. Unity is starting to look less like an impossible dream and more like a description of the scientific reality of things, and a formula for personal and planetary survival. And because of all of this, you are beginning to expand your awareness and reach out into new possibilities of being. All this is transforming you in ways which your grandparents could not even begin to understand. And the more you can flow with this energy and attune to unity consciousness, the faster you will bring reconciliation into your divided world. Part of your journey into oneness is letting go of your past. Try not to hold a fixed position on anything or anyone. However keenly you feel the rights and wrongs of a particular situation, this may change with time. Yesterday's reviled terrorist leader becomes today's accepted political negotiator and tomorrow's honored statesman. Time moves on. People change, and the perception of them changes too. Always allow for that change by keeping an open mind on everything and everyone. Hold on to nothing and resist nothing. That way you keep your energy focused on the here and now, and your consciousness remains forever young. You also avoid stress, one major cause of which is a failure to let go. Let life flow through you and acknowledge and accept whatever life presents to you today.
The Master's power is like this. He lets all things come and go effortlessly, without desire. He never expects results, thus he is never disappointed. He is never disappointed, thus his spirit never grows old. Tolerant like the sky, all-pervading like sunlight, firm like a mountain, supple like a tree in the wind. He has no destination in view and makes use of anything life happens to bring his way. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. Lao Tzu.
Be aware, accept, let go, and move on. By doing this, you keep in the flow of oneness and do not pull yourself out of the stream into separation and isolation. These qualities are part of the long arc leading to rigidity and death. By choosing the path of flow, the path of oneness, you choose the path of life. In doing that, you automatically move towards the point of equilibrium, the focus of balance. In equilibrium, all the drama of the world falls away. All the struggling and judging, all the heartache and the hurt. Here only love and light are real, and all else blows away upon the wind. In this state, you understand that everything is perfect, not in the sense of being equally good, but in the realization that the perfect balance of things teaches you love and helps you to move towards the light.
Much of what you say about oneness has resonances with modern physics, especially quantum physics. This seems to have developed very quickly into some quite subtle and holistic areas.
Yes, and the pace of development is increasing all the time. Your scientists are now embracing the possibility of a multidimensional universe as the only way that they can get the mathematics to work. Mathematics do not lie, but sometimes they demand that you change your ideas if they are too rigid and limiting. This realignment and expansion of consciousness comes at a vital time for you. You live in a divided and dangerous world where it is all too easy to forget about oneness and forgiveness and start to think in terms of punishment and revenge. Yet despite that, it is still true that solutions based upon violence divide, whilst those based upon forgiveness unite.
Is it necessary for the persecutor to repent and show remorse before complete forgiveness by the victim is possible?
No, Joshua did not say, "Stand ready to forgive your enemy as soon as he repents." Instead, his message was simply to forgive your enemy. Forgiveness can occur at any time, and as soon as you have forgiven someone, you have released yourself from the energetic connection between you. By forgiving, you reject any kind of separation and affirm oneness. Unity consciousness is a hard lesson to learn, but forgiveness is a vital component in the spiritual growth of an awakening humanity.
But oneness can sometimes be very challenging.
Yes, you will be challenged to experience the dramas of this world and not be pulled in by them, to live surrounded by turbulence and chaos and still hold the vision of love and peace. In a time of chaos, it is hard to hold both sides equally in the light and to send your blessings to all. Yet, that is exactly what you need to do now. For now, your lives are intersecting with the greater process of planetary transformation, and the inner and outer worlds are merging into one. Release the heavy energy that locks you into duality and step forward into the oneness of the heart.
So, the oneness thing, the unity consciousness thing, heart-based unity consciousness, we know this is where we're heading to. And Alariel puts it across so well, and I think the Lao Tzu piece just fitted so perfectly in there. The master's power is this, and it's all about letting life flow through you, and that way you will just you don't set the expectations. Therefore, you're never disappointed. Therefore, your soul never grows old. There's so much wisdom in this. One of the things that always made me think, or makes sense, if you like, of the energy fields situation. How is it that we're all one when we're all here walking around individually, living individual lives and all the rest of it? Individuated expressions of the one consciousness is the answer, okay? But the one thing that helped me to make sense of it a couple of years ago when I first listened to it was the Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. When God was explaining the fact that, we are all energy fields. We go beyond the skin, obviously, because you have your aura, you have it stretches out. Now, the energy waves that emanate from you will go through certain aspects, like it'll go through a room, it'll go through, but energy waves of other people, they intermingle with you. And where does the energy of me finish and somebody else begin? Well, it doesn't. It actually is all part of the same unified field of energy. And all of a sudden I think, now I get it. Now I understand that the nature of the fact that we are all in this unified energy field, we are all one. Everything around us are just different aspects of ourselves, both the light and the shadow. And we have to be mindful of that. So when you get your head around that, that means that you are going to be slow to judge others, because it is just us on a different journey. There's only one of us in the room, right? So regardless of everything that's going on out there, across multiple lives, we've played all sorts of kind of different roles. We've been the darker forces, we've been the lighter forces. That is the whole principle behind this, is to gain experience. But when it comes back to it, you can always find out when when you listen to people's near-death experiences as they go back, it is all one. They feel the unity of everything. That's the way that it is. But we are here for this as an individuated expression on our own personal adventure. But now is the time where we start to break away from the illusion of separation and come back into that unity, that heart-based Christ consciousness, that unity consciousness, which means that war finishes. As soon as you know that, then if everybody on the planet knew that, there would never be another war. There would never be another battle, because it's the same as punching yourself in the face, right? Why would you do that? Now, it is one of the most popular topics on the planet right now, is personalized face punching going on all around the world in different conflicts. But nevertheless, that's just the old world energy playing itself out. Where we are heading is a world of unspeakable beauty. So the spiritual evolution is underway. And, it's good to hear from Alariel that it's moving in a way that would have been unthinkable if you go back just a generation ago. And I see that, and one of the things that we are seeing at the moment, we're definitely seeing, a lot of conflict and darkness and various other things that have gone on, being raised to our attention. But a lot of this comes down to the fact that the light is increasing. And when the light increases, it shows the darkness. There is no hiding place for the darkness anymore. So it's always been there. It's just that now we can see it. At the end of the day, we have a choice about how we handle these things. Okay. So we don't condone it. We don't have to get actively involved in it. What we don't do, of course, is focus on the darkness and focus on that energy, because then we are giving our energy to it. That's why it's so important to go within, right? Because that is where our power is. That is where all our superpowers reside, here in the sacred space of the heart, right? There's Drunvalo Melchizedek talks about it, the sacred space, or the tiny space within the heart. And yeah, I mean, this is where all this Melchizedek kind of wisdom is leading us right now. So the only way to win is for everyone to win. Important, okay? Because again, diminishes all that competition that we're actually encouraged into. Because you think about it, all education in life and everything like that or sports, it's all about building competition and getting us into that mindset of competition. We are starting to transcend competition. That is it, because everybody has to win. You're not after being a winner and forcing somebody else to be a loser. Staying in the here and now, and your conscious remains forever young, as Alariel said, and that again mirrors very much the Lao Tzu comment as well. Finding equilibrium, 0 point, which I know Jolé talks again. She does a lot of the Ho'oponopono kind of thing, which brings us back to that point of neutrality. That is such a valuable thing. Greg Braden, The Gift of the Blessing, is attached in the details below. And the reason I put that in there at this point, and it's a relatively short video, it's only 6.5 minutes thereabouts. He helps us to transcend polarity thinking. And that is really part of this journey, is to do that, because we have to be able to forgive. Forgiveness is so important. And sometimes if you feel really sore about something that's gone on, it's sometimes difficult in this reality to just be able to forgive. But Greg sets out a way which actually does work very well. You know, where it's the blessing, the three-way blessing. You bless the victims of whatever's gone on. It might be genocide or something like that. And then you bless the perpetrators of that genocide, which is the most tricky part for many people. But again, it comes back to this thing. We are all one. And you cannot transcend polarity thinking by using polarity thinking in the way you respond. So you have to kind of consider that and use that, and then you bless yourself, because you, in the witnessing of it, have kind of grown through that. But again, it affects everybody on a personal level. So the gift of the blessing is a really important thing, and you'll find that, as I say, in the details below. And that was the other thing that Alariel said, which I thought really truly resonated, which is solutions based on violence divide, while those based on forgiveness unite. I mean, how profound is that? That is beautiful, and we already know it to be true. So, Jolé, can I bring you in, please, for your comments?
Absolutely, here I am. And the one thing that you said that I kind of want to unpack a little bit is, we are all one. That is very true. We've been told that in every way. We've been told we are one. However, we are individuated expressions of this, right? So
Absolutely.
you're like, I don't want to judge. I know that this person is me and they're a crackhead. And, maybe I was a crackhead in another life and I don't want to judge. This is a psychopath. I don't want. But the thing that we're talking about is when you send that energy love, when you forgive, you don't have to intermingle with this person or this energy anymore. But what you can do is you send out love. That's all we're trying to kind of remind you to do, is instead of going and, like I did, you're a crackhead, you're a psychopath. Maybe we need to back up out of that a little bit and going, wow, that's an interesting expression of the creator. Yeah, that's not for me. And then move on, right? And then you come from a neutral space. And maybe as we move towards unspeakable beauty, those things heal themselves. Those things begin to fall away and they're not necessary anymore, because there was a time. I know there was a time. We know there was a time. Lemuria, we have these places and spaces where people were not abusing themselves, where societies were able to propagate and grow. Now, in our timeline, it's been a challenge. We've seen the ups and downs of that. However, on an individual level, to keep and hold your energy and to differentiate, I'm not saying you're not connected, but to keep and hold your energy and to make sure that your free will has the freedom to grow and their free will has the freedom to grow. It's always about the roses and the transmutation of energy. So you can wind up saying, I'm judging this person. Let me just take a brief moment, put them in a rose, blow them up, give them back their energy, and call all my energy back. This is called, some people call it magic. It's not necessarily magic. What it is you keeping and holding your energy and you allowing the space for someone else to exist in their own way. So these are little tips and tricks we do energetically and in the quantum field in order for us to be able to manifest some of these concepts, because they're all great. I used to sit around and go, wow, everything, we're all interconnected, but what does that mean? How do I access that energy? Abundance is out there for me. How do I access? How am I able to imprint in myself these things instead of them just being theories and ideas and platitudes? You got to have some type of visualization that all of your cells in your body understand. And that's where the place of transmutation. You want to also connect mind and body together. So by doing that, the visualizations are what help to get that, what do you call it? Acting as if a wish is fulfilled already. You got to get the body involved. So you open up those portals close those eyes, maybe even open for advanced, and you see people in roses. You see people with golden suns above their head. You make sure that you stay in the flow of that. Ground your energy. Oh, I have hate in my body or I have negativity. Where am I holding it? I'm holding it in my shoulders. I'm holding it in my gut. I'm holding it in my thighs. I turn it a bright red color. I flush it down my grounding cord. I fill those spaces and places up with the golden sun. This allows me to drop the anxiety, to drop the depression, the hate, the judgment, and focus on the internal, which full circle connects me then to everyone else from a place of unconditional love and neutrality.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely that's a wonderful tool to have and to remember because
Yes.
again, we're sort of conditioned and programmed into the judgment thing. And one of the things that really helped me, and I've mentioned this a few times before, but there was an example in Robert Schwartz's Your Soul's Gift about two sisters. They came in to have a hypnotherapy session to find out about their brother who was a drug addict, who was homeless, the family inheritance that he had had and they had had, he'd blown completely through everything and he was in a mess. And they were trying to help him. And whatever they could do, they were trying to help him. But they went and had a hypnotic regression to take them back to their life planning room to find out what the background to that was. And it turned out that their brother was indeed a master and he had come in on that lifetime to enable them to understand the nature of kindness and compassion, because that is what they would have to do. So he basically put himself through a life of extreme challenge to help his sisters. But when you looked at it from a human point of view, you would never know, right?
Right.
It just kind of made me think, well, whatever's going on, there is a reason. And again, the little soul, you remember Conversations with God, the little soul, who has this thing where he wants to learn how to forgive. So he has to have somebody to whom he can forgive. So another little soul comes along and says, I will do something. He said, well, you're just as perfect as everybody else and the little soul himself. He said, well, no. He says, I love you so much that I am going to incarnate and we are going to have an interaction which will force you to be or give you the opportunity to forgive me. So it's like a little parable kind of thing in Conversations with God style. But those couple of things always kind of take me back to that point where the people in our lives who can put us through some real challenges, who can take us into that dark night of the soul, are often doing it because it is part of what we wanted. Therefore,
Mm.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
easy, right?
We
Not when
call
you're
it
in the
Earth
teeth of the
School,
storm. Yes.
right?
Yes, absolutely. It is. Earth School is not the easiest place. In fact, they do. I've heard it so many times. This is one of the most challenging places in the entire universe or multiverse to come, which is why the people who are here, the aspects of consciousness who are here, are very highly developed aspects of consciousness. And this is a finishing school almost.
Wow, yeah. And but the beauty of it is also in the polarity we talked about, right? It is the fact that there is choice. And I
Mm,
think that's what kind of maybe makes Earth School a blessing and a curse is that you have a smorgasbord of choices to make in this lifetime that can either serve yourself and humanity or not. You do have that choice. Like you don't have to serve humanity. I mean, we wish you will, you would, but that's a choice out there for you. But no matter what, to sit in a space of being able to forgive, even the creator, I had to go through a period where it was okay for me to have these conversations with the creator, and I was using profanity and I was yelling and screaming and having a really hard time with trying to understand that I know you exist, but you really aren't showing up for me the way that you said you would. So I had to go through that and realize the creator's like, I'm in you. You're responsible. I gave you the keys to open the doors that you want to open. Don't, you know what I mean? Yelling, like John says, I was punching my own self in the face by doing that. So working with forgiveness, it opens so many doors, because what it's asking you to do is be brave and walk through the pain. Because on the other side of that is where all the blessings and the gifts are.
Yeah, indeed. It is an exciting time. It's quite a challenge. This is the building of understanding of these different aspects of life. It really does help because,
Yeah.
once you start to understand the nature of the world that is going on around you, this holographic universe that we have created for ourselves and that we will continue to create. But times are changing, and there's everything. You mentioned, I think last week, you said it feels like time is speeding up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And things are changing, things are accelerating, and it's true. And we're going to start this second piece with a section that was inspired by Saratoga Ocean, who is a channel for Archangel Michael. So this is where this explanation comes from. And it's only a short piece, but it leads us into a section again by Alariel talking about the Melchizedek and Metatron energies working together. And again, a fascinating piece. So I think that it kind of helps us to understand what it is that we are seeing right now, and that will continue to escalate for a while ahead, which makes it even more important that we can actually, go within, find our inner peace, and connect in that way, because this is where our real power is. And along with our emotion and our imagination, these are all superpowers as well. This is how we create our reality. So what do you
Yeah.
reckon, Jolé?
Yes, let's hit the button. Let's go.
Okay. All right, everybody, hang on to your hats. Here we go. So, the question is, what happens during a time of dimensional shift? Well, Saratoga Ocean, who channels Archangel Michael, put it very well. Here we are in our current dimension, and on the other side, our new dimension awaits. However, to travel to this higher frequency dimension, we have to go through this point of singularity, which means a condensing of all the energies. After all, we are all part of the unified energy field. So the point of singularity is our portal to this higher dimension. But we have to go through this chaotic contraction in order to come out the other side. But once we do, we find ourselves bursting through into an era of rapid expansion and advanced higher frequency evolution. And we need to be able to match that higher frequency by having shed any destructive patterns and behaviors of the past, which is why so many of these are coming back to the surface to be resolved and dissolved, as this is baggage that we cannot take with us. So don't suppress anything that arises, allow it to move through and be released into the light. This is a time of opportunity and joy, despite any near-term challenges, because a world of unspeakable beauty awaits.
Melchizedek and Metatron. When we were researching our first book, The Essenes, Children of the Light, Alariel revealed a good deal of information about the Melchizedeks and their relationship with the Essenes. Although we understood that the Order of Melchizedek is a service order of advanced teachers operating in many parts of the galaxy, we still knew very little about the head of the order, so we framed a question to cover this. Joanna, could you please tell us about the great being who founded the Melchizedek order?
To understand Melchizedek, it is first necessary to understand his relationship to Metatron. The work of these two great beings interlocks, and neither can be understood in isolation. There are two main aspects of the universe: light, which may also be perceived as energy, and consciousness. Light creates all the levels of the universe, right down to the physical level. All that you can see, including other beings, are made of light, crystallized or solidified down till it reaches the physical level. Consciousness creates the process through which beings of light evolve spiritually. That evolution, giving you the reason for your existence and the arc of your development, both a rock and the greatest archangel, are made of light. But the consciousness of the rock exists in potential, whereas the consciousness of the archangel exists in unfoldment and realization. In vibrational terms, the consciousness of a rock is extremely slow, unorganized, and crude, while the consciousness of a great archangel is fast, structured, and refined. Metatron oversees the energy, the light aspect of the universe, creating the light and the protocols and language of light, while Melchizedek oversees the spiritual education and development of consciousness of all material beings. The development of angelic beings is overseen by Metatron. So in a way, Metatron provides the physical environment in which spiritual evolution occurs, while Melchizedek nourishes and sustains that evolution in the unfolding of consciousness. Their work is very different, but together they combine to provide a complete experience for many beings on many levels of development. And the net result of their combined work is to take life at a very slow and primitive stage and enable it to expand in awareness so that what emerges in time are enlightened beings.
Comment by Stuart.
Both Melchizedek and Metatron are considered to be great beings who exist beyond the normal constraints of space and time. Some authorities say that Metatron is an archangel, but as he is considered to be the most powerful of all archangels, it seems more likely that he is one of the Elohim, the leaders of the angelic host and the architects of creation. Most authorities regard Melchizedek as an advanced star being, that is, a member of a civilization in some galaxy who has gone through an ascension process and is now a timeless and eternal being of light.
The session continues. Joanna, is the Melchizedek teaching limited to sacred geometry?
By no means. It is hard for human beings to grasp the absolute flexibility of the Melchizedek teaching process. When they first contact a civilization, they spend time getting to know what that culture is most interested in, and when they teach within that parameter of interest. Some examples from Earth history may serve to illustrate this process. They discovered that the Maya were fascinated by time, so they taught them about calendars. They discovered that the Druids were fascinated by the natural world, so they taught them the wisdom of trees and herbs and stars. They discovered that the Greeks were fascinated by line and form, so they taught them about sacred geometry. They discovered that the Jews were fascinated by the contrast of light and darkness, so they taught them about the struggle between good and evil. They discovered that the Egyptians were fascinated by transformation, so they taught them about ascension. Amongst all the planets bearing sentient life throughout all the galaxies, they found many different peoples interested in many different things. And whatever that interest was, they talked about it. So they forced their views upon no one, but rather helped everyone to expand the seed of light that lay dormant in their consciousness. The Melchizedeks have a little phrase to explain this process. They say, "We always work with the current of the water and the grain of the wood." And that is eminently sensible, for to try to teach a people something that they find dull and boring is a thankless task that the Melchizedeks are much too intelligent to attempt.
What do you see as the main purpose of the Melchizedeks here on Earth?
Above all, the Melchizedeks are trying to help you achieve your potential as human beings through helping you to refine your consciousness so that you can rise towards the highest reaches of human awareness. The Melchizedeks are fundamentally relinking all the beings they teach to the source by showing them how to access the truth, the divine presence within. This process has the effect of reprogramming the consciousness and aligning that consciousness with the underlying light structure of the universe. This automatically takes the individual away from a selfish and materialistic perception of things and reorients them towards more spiritual goals. The achieving of the goals that lie along your spiritual path will release great joy within you, and these experiences of joy may be seen as gifts of the Spirit. That is why the Order of Melchizedek has been described as administering the gifts of the Spirit, although, to be more exact, they administer the developmental process which enables the gifts of the Spirit to come into your lives.
So the Melchizedek thing and Metatron, that's a beautiful explanation of how all that intertwines together. And the points made there by Stuart Wilson as well, about the Metatron energy as opposed to being an archangel, being the Elohim. And yeah, it's fascinating stuff. And one of the things I really like about the Melchizedek kind of things, I've really got a fascination with that at the moment. But when they're talking about amongst all the planets bearing sentient light across all the galaxies, this is where they interact with to identify where their points of interest are to help them develop those interests. Brilliantly put. But again, you just kind of think about this. This is not just about planet Earth. This is about the entire multiverse where these beings can go and help to evolve the nature of consciousness on that planet in a way that, as they say, we always work with the current of the water and the grain of the wood. So they are able to align their teachings with the natural inclinations of the people. And, that's beautiful. So one of the things that I also really, the refining our consciousness so we can rise to reach our highest levels of human awareness. This is the journey we're on right now. Now, when you think of Yeshua ben Joseph, he was a Melchizedek teacher, right? Absolute master. And also, Drunvalo Melchizedek, right, is a great example of a currently incarnated Melchizedek who is here to assist our evolution right now. We know that he released his recent book, The Ancient Secrets of the Flower of Life, #3, which again comes back to this awakening the illuminated heart kind of thing, which I've done that workshop a year and a half ago. I'm going to do it again, but I need to get the book first. And unfortunately, it's not yet published in the UK, so I've not been able to get it because it's actually a work aid to the course. And what is all that about? That is about going into the sacred space of the heart, the tiny sacred space of the heart. Now, Drunvalo I find really interesting because, again, apparently his name, Drunvalo, which not a name I'd ever heard of before, is a druidic name by all accounts, and it means little tree on the edge of a stream. So Drunvalo, Melchizedek, and he came onto our planet in 1972, April the 10th to be exact, as a soul exchange walk-in into Bernard Perona. And again, this was a relationship that he and Bernard have had before. So again, this is not a possession, it's not a takeover, it's a soul exchange agreement that enables a higher consciousness being to come into an existing physical vessel so that they can begin this journey without having to be born, go through the veil of forgetfulness and having to learn and grow. You can step into the body of an existing person and be able to take the journey forward a lot quicker. So I know that, and again, I'm going to cover this in more depth because we've got to do a show on this. But when he arrived, he arrived through the Pleiades first, where he spent quite some time learning about the human culture from there, because the Pleiades have big links to humanity. Okay, also through Sirius, and then to Venus, I think it was that he spent. I forget now. When you research these things, you can kind of find out where he spent this time as he's coming. Now, one of the things I know that the reason his expression of consciousness, if you want to call that, was selected for this journey was that he had never lived under duality before. So he was coming at it from a very innocent perspective. And it wasn't his first incarnation. I think he'd come in before as a Native American over in New Mexico as well before that in a previous life. But we need to follow up on that because it is really interesting. Now, one of the things I just wanted to share with you from Drunvalo's book, The Mayan Ouroboros. A couple of little passages in here because, again, it really relates very strongly to what we are seeing at the moment. And of course, the Ouroboros, so just an explanation of that. We said, when the white snake bites its tail, the Ouroboros, and it's perfectly aligned with the cycles of the Earth, the Sun, and the center of the galaxy, which are also biting their tails as the cycles come full circle, anything is possible. Will humanity respond and dream a new dream? Whatever happens will be in divine order, and as the events unfold, we will all soon witness the results of thousands of years of preparation by our ancestors. This is the time we're going through, okay? The precession of the equinoxes, which takes place every 25,920 years. And that is the time we're at right now. So this is the change of the cycle, right? This is why we came here right now. And that's why so many things are changing. Just flipping towards the back of the book, a couple more passages just to share with you. So link your heart to the heart of the earth, then to the heart of the sun, and then to the heart of the galaxy, and finally to the heart of the universe, and you will live forever. Mother Earth will protect and guide you. In Lakesh, you are another me and I am another you. Oneness is the true nature of our relationship. The Ouroboros is the true nature of our circular reality. And I think that brings us full circle to where we started today, the importance of unity and oneness. And the way that Drunvalo puts it here, it's all a circular relationship, whether it is coming back to the movement of the stars and the planets, or whether it is us and this particular cycle. And just again, as one little finishing piece here, I marked out, because this is something we've covered as well. Drunvalo says, you live in a holographic universe based upon consciousness, and you are consciousness. You will find that you can use your consciousness to create whatever you need, and eventually you will realize that you need nothing. You are immortal. You are the ancient one that life has been searching for. Relax and breathe from your heart. Live within your heart, and everything will come at the right time. So, we do create our reality. We are living in a holographic universe, and we have so much power that we have been unconscious about. But now we are tapping in and creating our reality. And this is why we are creating these moon alchemy meditations for people who are interested. And it's about literally putting your energy into a meditation that you can listen to during the moon phases, because there are energetic qualities to the moon in certain phases where you have to put in more effort, less effort, change it around, release what's not serving. And so we guide you through all that as well. But it comes back to what Drunvalo is talking about there. We are creators. We are creating everything around us now, and we're going to create a wonderful future. That's where it comes back to our world of unspeakable beauty. So at that point, I'm going to shut up now. I'm just going to bring the wonderful Jolé back in again.
Thank you so much, John. That was beautiful. And, I'm speaking to those right now who are rebellious. There was a time where, because of some of the experiences that I've had as a child and a teenager, I was very against whatever was going on in society, right? But I signed up for this game of
Yeah.
Earth School. And so I want us rebellious spirits to know that we're in such a magnificent year to sort of shift our energy, that you are part of this game. You are part of this life. There's no getting out of it right now. We need you here, is what I'm trying to say. You have value. And some of the ways to do that is to really get to know yourself and begin to unpack within you the spirit of positivity, the spirit of joy and forgiveness. It's not easy because everything in this world is programming you and pointing you towards something that is, I guess, a little dark, a little negative. We are so caught up in the sarcasm and the, I guess, labeling and the judging, but this is all coming to an end. And if no matter what religion you are, there are positives in every single thing. And that's what we are to look at now. It's not about saying it's not right, don't do it, don't go. Go, enjoy yourself, connect with people, find the good. And wherever the cracks are in your knowledge or wisdom, that's where you dig. Wherever there's some dissonance between the polarity between what you know and what you are learning, that's where you dig, because where's it going to bring you back to? Yourself. One of the things that I remember being a child within a religious community is it's constantly looping you. You're looped, like this. So what you want to do is transcend up out of that loop. How do you do that? You remove at some point the middleman and develop that relationship one-on-one with spirit. And back again, when we talk about it, everything is interconnected, everything is one. that comes forth from you. So for you rebellious spirits out there, pick one thing that society and pop culture or whatever is saying, hey, we're over here, and dig deep there. Go there, because being a hermit is great. I mean, it serves its purpose, but only for periods of time, only for periods of growth, really, or they benefit by becoming periods of growth. But I'm just speaking to those rebellious spirits out there because I used to be one. I'm still that in a way. You know, if everybody's over here watching this, doing this, I like to be over here. But that puts me outside of the circle. That puts me outside of the place where I can do good. If you want to do good, you have to infiltrate the system. You can't sit about outside of it and judge. So that's another healing I want to add to this experience or to this show.
Yeah, yeah. And the spirit of the rebellious is actually an interesting one because I know that Yeshua ben Joseph himself was regarded as an absolute rebel. You know, that was his thing as he was growing up, purely because he wouldn't accept things at face value. He would continue to ask the questions,
Exactly.
and he would always be the one who would say, well, you know, when the rabbis got frustrated with him and just said, look, that's just the way it is, that was never a good answer.
But if we are to go with what we are taught, he died so that we didn't have to do that anymore.
Yeah,
And we stay in an age of grace. So if that is indeed a myth and a story with which we want to believe in, then the rest of that means we ain't got to do that anymore. So let's come together. Like his whole issue was bringing people together, you know, and it worked. It worked in a lot of ways. And I feel like we're back almost in that same sort of energy, if you think about it. But this time, we don't need to crucify anyone. What
no,
we need to do is say the labels no longer apply. Snatch them away, snatch them down, dissolve them, and move into the energy of recognizing you are your own Messiah. Therefore, you don't need to judge and label and look outside of yourself to try and find that. Therefore, I need, now that you didn't give me what I want, I need to crucify you. It's all here. Don't look for it anywhere else. I think that's the beauty of the connectivity, is that you got to connect with you first if you want to really connect with those around you and your environment. And so with the moon alchemy meditation, that's another deep part of it, is that it allows you to connect with you because you're hearing your own voice. You know what I mean? And you're working through all the uncomfortableness of you loving you,
yeah,
because that's what this really is at the end of the day, is self-love made manifest, because that's all being able to, the law of attraction is. If you love yourself, you are going to attract in all the good stuff. So that's what we're here to really support you in doing.
yes, indeed, yeah. And life is everlasting, as we know, because of the crucifixion. That was kind of the point that it's
Yeah,
we don't need to concern ourselves over things like death, right? Because we never go, we never die. We just come around and do these next adventures and the adventure after that as well. And to your point, you know, we're all pieces of this giant cosmic jigsaw puzzle. We're all unique for a reason because we all fit together and intertwine perfectly. To
hmm,
and we how do we know what we're supposed to be doing? It's the stuff that brings us the most joy because that
right,
is what we're supposed to be doing. If what you're doing in your life is not bringing you joy, that is not your thing. So,
yeah,
how good is that? If you're ever going to design a program for people to come to this planet, and all you have to do is work out what makes you the most joyous you can be and say, ah, that's your job, you know.
yeah,
Sign
yeah.
up for that.
You know, and that's another thing. Again, I just want to reiterate and keep reiterating, because this is our problem, is that we're looking outside of ourselves. So let's understand that, again, we are the answer. Open your heart. What does that look like? You've got to figure that out. You know, we could
Mm.
take you on the journey, but how do you get into that feeling and that emotion of a wish fulfilled? What does that feel like? Do you get the chills? Does heat run through your body? Is it something where you kind of like drop out? Whatever that is, capture it, because that's what you want to reach for or drop into time and time again every day, on waking, going to sleep. If there's no other time you can do it, on waking and going to bed, practicing this.
Yes. So do you think it is that time now?
Absolutely.
Heading into the meditation. So if you bear with us a second, folks, we're going to have Alariel again leading us with some of the wisdom, just to set the scene for Jolé's words of wisdom that follow within the guided meditation. So bear with me a second, off we go.
Jeshua did not say, "Stand ready to forgive your enemy as soon as he repents." Instead, his message was simply to forgive your enemy. Forgiveness can occur at any time, and as soon as you have forgiven someone, you have released yourself from the energetic connection between you. By forgiving, you reject any kind of separation and affirm oneness. Unity consciousness is a hard lesson to learn, but forgiveness is a vital component in the spiritual growth of an awakening humanity. You will be challenged to experience the dramas of this world and not be pulled in by them, to live surrounded by turbulence and chaos and still hold the vision of love and peace. In a time of chaos, it is hard to hold both sides equally in the light and to send your blessings to all. Yet, that is exactly what you need to do now. For now, your lives are intersecting with the greater process of planetary transformation, and the inner and outer worlds are merging into one. Release the heavy energy that locks you into duality and step forward into the oneness of the heart.
Put your feet flat on the floor. Your palms face up on your thighs. Breathe with the rhythm of your body. As you bring your awareness to the center of your chest, and you command your heartbeat to sync up with your breath. Call your higher self back above you, standing at a comfortable distance above your crown. As you pull your aura in to be 1.5 feet around you, your astral body, snap it into your physical body, and ground your energy into Mother Earth with the grounding cord that is 6 inches in diameter of a natural earth element connected to your first chakra, located between your sit bones. Take a moment and feel your grounding cord. See it created as it moves through the layers of Mother Earth. And as you ground your energy, you're feeling so much gratitude for this experience. The good, the bad, the beautiful. As you grow roots at the core of Mother Earth, and you feel her warmth and her love, and her energy tells you, you are worthy. You deserve to be here. I love you. And her golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanket the inside and the outside of your grounding cord, letting you know that it's okay for you to give her all of your negative energy, everything that you're ready to let go of, every dis-ease, illness, negative thought, limiting belief, karma, debt. Give it to Mother Earth. She will recycle it for you into positive, creative life force energy. So as you just bask in the energy of this unconditional love of the Great Mother, just feel so much gratitude, so much love. As you take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, you're going to visualize the bottoms of your feet opening like the lens of a camera and call in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you. Beautiful, beautiful energy. Is it green of abundance? We cannot count the blades of grass, for they are plentiful. There's abundance all around you. Bring it in. Is it red? For grounding, making new land. Feeling a sense of safety as you build your village. Or is it orange to tap into that creativity, that pleasure, and all of the fun and joy life has to bring? Is it all three of them? Bring them all in and allow it to pool in your feet and begin to travel up the side channels of your legs. And while this takes place, because you trust and you know that your body knows what to do, and the spirit, open your crown like the lens of a camera as that beautiful golden life force energy comes raining down, cascading down from the heavens gently and with so much love and nurturing energy as it rains down on your higher self, and just bringing in so much ancient knowledge and wisdom, solidifying those marching orders of your purpose as your higher self gets even more healthy, glowing, connected, and abundant and intuitive. That's why it stands at that power position, because it's your guide and your connection with the oneness that is all around you. Tap in as that energy cascades down into the crown, and it comes in and it integrates with all of the positive neurotransmitters, synapses, and grooves within your brain, bringing into unity the left and the right hemisphere, creating more expansiveness in that prefrontal cortex. So you have less time to get into that zone, and that worry, doubt, and fear drains down the grounding cord as we balance those hormones, as that energy moves down into the neck, down into the hands, opening up the channels of creativity, moving down into that heart, making more space for love and wellness, opening up those lungs to breathe more air and more gold light into you as the lymphatic system takes in this beautiful golden light, along with the liver, the kidney, and the spleens, allowing you to move out the waste and be nourished and bring in so much wellness into those joints and into that nervous system, allowing you to be safe as some of that gold light then goes down the grounding cord, mixing in with that earth energy, filling you up like water fills up a cup as you sit in this divine energy. And from this space of quantum energy, of the unity of Mother Earth, divine cosmic life force energy, and your unique signature of energy, Sit here and visualize your most loving and highest good. See the double doors of your heart open and every cell of your body sending out an unconditional loving signal of success. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body. And for this visualization, we're going to take it a step further and dissolve any separation between us and our environment. As we become one with the energy and the world around us, as we see clearly our vision of unspeakable beauty and living in a world where we are unconditional love. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like? Hear it, see it, feel it. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body, and you allow for this essence of Mother Earth and cosmic divine life force energy to begin to sprout out of your feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up your aura layers, opening your heart and that portal between your heart and the center of your head. As that golden life force energy moves between the center of your head and your heart, drawing in that earth energy of that manifestation of the unfoldment, the laws of the universe. As you walk in your purpose with so much love that it gets mirrored back to you. Drop the pain, drop the struggle down the grounding cord, drop the hate, drop the blocks, and know who you are. That golden sun is above your head, lit up with love, creativity, joy, and pleasure. Fill it up. Let that gold light wash through it, magnifying and electrifying it. As you drop what no longer serves you down that grounding cord, and that earth energy and that cosmic life force energy fills up those spaces and those places. As that golden sun above your head calls all your energy back, as you visualize your most loving good, as you sit in the energy of a wish fulfilled, and you know that you are safe living this life. Therefore, you breathe with the rhythm of your body, and you hold this space as you stay grounded and rooted and connected and filled with so much unconditional love that there is no choice but the universe to give you what you want. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. Remember who you are. Create your future. Collapse your past. You are the light. There's no stepping into it. It is you and you are it. Turn it on full force as this gold light fills you up and this earth energy grounds you into this new reality. As you move through the rhythm and the flow of this universe, you are one with. With each breath, with each beat of your heart, you are aligning with all of the unconditional love and all of the earth energy and creative life force around you. Hold the vision as you take a deep breath in, exhale, and you bring this golden sun down. See your higher self reach up. And this living golden sun, it pulls it down through itself. You see these beautiful essence left behind on your higher self as it moves down through your crown, through that cascading gold light, as it breaks like this beautiful golden egg of just beautiful golden force energy as it moves down inside of you and all around your aura layer, going down your grounding cord, chasing those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles into the core of Mother Earth. So you take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, the excess goes down into the core of Mother Earth as you give her so much love and so much gratitude. You take another deep breath in, and you allow for this energy to just stabilize within you. And you take another deep breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to close our feet, our hands, the double doors of our heart, and our crown simultaneously. And on this next deep breath in, take your time and do it with a smile. And on the exhale, allow for this energy to settle in all of its stability and density and quantum energy. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was wonderful, Jolé. Thank you very much. A very appropriate one for Mother's Day with Gaia Mother Earth there in the center of things.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, that was a real tingler, that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I really felt that connection there. So thank you very much. So,
Yeah.
okay, right. So what do you think? We're in wrap-up mode now?
Yes, we are in wrap-up mode.
Thank you, everybody who has been here with us today. Thank you for the comments. And also, just wanted to mention that, of course, the edited version of this goes out on the newsletter tomorrow. If anybody wants to be on our newsletter distribution list, just drop me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life and we will be sure to make the magic happen. Or if you have any questions for us, that same thing, johndrew@elevatedplanet.life. Or if you have any questions about the Moon Alchemy meditation program that we are bringing into existence right now, you will see more on that in due course, but it's available for anybody who is interested right now. So any inquiries, just send them our way and we will let you know exactly how we go about this and just see if it resonates with you. And what else do you reckon, Jolé?
I'm still in the meditation.
Me too.
Please like, share, and subscribe. And, let other people come to this, share this meditation so we can get positive energy out there. It's about elevated planet, but more than anything, it's about elevating the planet. So we just asked you to share some of this with your friends and family so that they can feel good and also we can grow.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Wonderful. Okay, yeah, well, thank you, Jolé, and thank you again to our community. And
Thank you, John.
and yeah, Pam meditation on Thursday, all things
Yes.
being equal. We will be doing our usual Pam Gregory inspired global meditation to magnetize the new earth frequency. And so if you are able to join us for that, it's Thursday, 7 p.m. or 6:50 p.m. UK we start, and your equivalent times around the world. But also as to make the point that obviously that time doesn't work for everybody around the world. So whenever you can join energetically, you are joining us and helping to elevate the frequency of the planet into the fifth dimension and beyond. So join us if you can. So thank you,
Hi.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jolé. Happy Mother's Day to everybody in
Thank you, John.
America, and we will see you very soon.